back door. He'll find Garland. Extra pass to Strus. Another extra pass. Mitchell puts it on the floor, and how about that?
Spectacular.
It's a new year, which hopefully means a new Cleveland Cavaliers, because while there are plenty of reasons for optimism, the Cavs have yet to put the total package together this season, and these resolutions could help them reach their full potential in 2024. So let's take a quick second to look at where the Cavaliers stand at the moment. An 18-15 record puts them 8th in the East, with only a game and a half separating them from the 4 seed. They also rank 20th in offensive rating, 11th in defensive rating, and 18th in net rating. So what should we make of all of this? For starters, this all feels like an obvious step backward from where they ranked last season, and that could feel like doomsday if you take into account all of their supposed roster improvements they made over the summer. But there are too many factors that play into Cleveland's strange start to the season for us to make any conclusions. And considering all of their injury woes, this feels like an okay position to be in. Still, we can pinpoint a few areas they need to be better, which is the goal of this video. Let's begin with maybe the biggest issue of all, Cleveland's lack of an identity.
Garland surveys outside. LeVert once again missed his free throws.
Last season, the Cavs breaded their butter on the defensive end of the floor. They were a grit and grind team with the best defense in the league that could transform any game into a rock fight. Their issue, however, was scoring enough points of their own, which is why the Cavs emphasized adding shooting to the roster and playing at a quicker pace this season. And while the Cavs have done both of those things, playing at a faster pace and attempting more three-pointers than last season, they haven't found consistent success with this style, and the Cavs have loosened their grip defensively to become just a middle-of-the-road team on both ends of the floor. So what has to change? Getting healthy would be a good first step, especially on the defensive end. The two-man lineup of Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen boasted a defensive rating of 104.2, which makes them the 13th best defensive duo out of 500 lineups to play at least 300 minutes together this season. And since losing Mobley to a knee injury, the Cavs are posting just the 16th best defensive rating in the NBA. So making the Cavs an elite defensive team might be as simple as having both Mobley and Allen available, but there is also a constant need for the backcourt to carry its own weight and not collapse the defense. The Cavs are not a very switchable team, which means individual accountability is paramount. Cleveland's backcourt might not be full of defensively stout players, but they at least have to execute the game plan and stay focused for this whole thing to work. We can take a look at their loss to Boston as a prime example of this, as the Cavs blew an early lead and then crumbled down the stretch as the Celtics buried them from the three-point line. Here, Allen is supposed to rotate back to Kristaps Porzingis after helping Dean Wade through this screen. But Garland jumps over to gamble for a steal, and when he misses, the rest of the Cavaliers' defense is now in disarray. A smart cut from Derek White forces Donovan Mitchell to pick him up, and while Allen is still scrambling to figure out where to rotate since Garland took his man, the result is a wide open three-pointer for Boston. A few minutes later, LeVert now rotates to the wrong man despite Okoro signaling for him to cover the corner, and this is another open shot that was entirely avoidable. Now with the game on the line, Strus goes too far under the screen while Garland delivers a lazy tag on Tatum, giving way too much daylight for a player of this caliber. If Strus had taken a better angle, or Garland had properly offered some resistance, the Cavs might have made this shot a bit more difficult. But the Cavaliers have been riddled with these tiny, easily avoidable mistakes all season long, and it's why they can give up 129 points to Miami on one night and then hold that same Miami team to just 99 points a month later. Because when the Cavs pay attention to the details and execute their game plan, they are still a deadbolt defensive team. So the first resolution on my list is locking in and cutting out the simple mistakes on defense. As for the offense, Cleveland has an identity issue. They've been trying to run and gun like every other modern NBA team, but despite generating high-quality three-point looks, they just can't find a rhythm from deep. And it's because players who are typically reliable three-point shooters haven't been able to hit their mark through the first half of the season. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Georges Niang, and Caris LeVert are all outside of the top 100 in terms of three-point efficiency for players who have attempted at least 100 three-pointers. You have to imagine this trend will start to normalize for at least a few of these guys, or else the Cavs season really is doomed. Mitchell and Garland in particular have a heavy sample size of being way better shooters than what they have shown this season. And while Strus has always been more inconsistent, a shot like this one, where he sprints around a screen, brings the ball across his body, and cashes a moving jumper, is a textbook example of elite shooting. The Cavs are simply too talented to keep shooting this poorly. The Cavs are generating the 7th most open three-pointers per game, but connecting on the 11th worst percentage. If the Cavs could just take advantage of all of these clean looks, it would change the tone of a lot of their games. So my second resolution is a little bit of shooting luck and a regression to the mean. Now let's get the obvious one out of the way and discuss something I've already mentioned: injuries. It goes without saying the Cavs are a better team when they have their best players available, even if Twitter will try and pretend this is a debate worth having. The lack of lineup continuity has hampered this team's ability to establish any consistent rhythm. Cleveland's normal starting lineup has played just 11 games together this season. For all of the defensive inconsistencies and shooting woes this team has suffered from, it's hard to really judge anything when they can't get an extended run of good health. So my final resolution is simple: the Cavs need to get healthy. Garland and Mobley should hopefully be back on the floor sometime around the All-Star break. This would give the Cavs a solid runway to build momentum heading into the playoffs. Now, all they have to do is avoid any more setbacks and survive this current stretch to give themselves a shot at reaching the 4-5 matchup in the first round. Because if Cleveland can do that, the door is open for all of their luck to change at the perfect time, and this Cavaliers team could end the season on a much more positive note than it began.
LeVert, little speed, dumps it off, and Allen's got himself the jam.